Hello and welcome to our lesson on arranging fractions. Today, we will be exploring three different ways to compare and order fractions. First, we'll be looking at fractions with the same denominator but different denominators. Take a look at this example: 5 over 6, 1 over 6, 4 over 6, and 2 over 6. You see that the denominators are the same, while the numerators are different. Next, we'll be examining fractions with the same denominator but different we'll be examining fractions with the same numerator but different denominator. Let's take a look at this as well. 7 over 25, 7 over 15, 7 over 10, and 7 over 20. You see that the numerators are the same, but the denominators are different. And lastly, we'll be looking at fractions with different denominator and numerators. Fractions with different denominators and numerators: 2 over 5, 1 over 2, and 3 over 4. You see that all these fractions have different numerators and different denominators. Alright, let's get to work. Let's start by arranging fractions with the same denominator first. So when the denominator are the same, we can compare the fractions by looking at their numerator. Take for instance, arrange in ascending order: 5 over 6, 1 over 6, 4 over 6, and 2 over 6. When you are arranging in ascending order, you begin with the smallest to the biggest. So we are looking at the smallest fractions among all of this. Okay. And since the denominator are the same here, the denominators, you can see they all have 6 as their denominator. Then we focus on the numerators to arrange them in ascending or descending order. Okay. And so the smallest numerator here is 1. So 1 over 6 is the smallest fraction. So to arrange in ascending order, we start with the smallest fraction and move on to the largest. Smallest here is 1 over 6, followed by 2 over 6, followed by 4 over 6, and finally 5 over 6. Remember, when the numerators are the same, the fraction with the smallest numerator is the smallest, and the fraction with the largest numerator is the largest. This makes it easy to arrange fraction with the same denominator in ascending or descending order. Okay, let's move on to the next one. When arranging fractions with the same numerator, we need to compare the denominator. Look at this example that says arrange in ascending order: 7 over 25, 7 over 15, 7 over 10, and 7 over 20. Here, there's an important twist. Okay, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the fraction. So it then means that when you are comparing or arranging fractions with the same numerator, check the denominators. The one that has the biggest denominator is the smallest fraction. And so we are arranging in ascending order here. So we're going to start from the smallest to the biggest. And so the smallest here is 7 over 25 because it has the biggest denominator. And the denominator that follows 25 here is 7 over 20. So the next will be 7 over 20, followed by 7 over 15, and the biggest is 7 over 10. So smallest here is 7 over 25, followed by 7 over 20, followed by 7 over 15, and lastly 7 over 10. Since the numerator are the same, which is 7, so like I said, we focus on the denominator, and then you remember again that the denominator with the the fraction with the biggest denominator is the smallest, and the fraction with the smallest denominator is the biggest. All right. So we move on to the last part, which is fractions with the different denominator and numerator. So let's look at this and arrange in ascending order. Okay. In this situation that we are arranging fractions with different denominators and numerator, we need to find the common denominator of 5, 4, and 2. So we find the LCM of 5, 4, and 2. And uh, the LCM of 5, 4, and 2 is 20. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do is that we need to take each of the fractions to have the common denominator of 20. So we pick 5 over 2. How do we now take the denominator, which is 5 to 20? We can multiply that by 4. And that would be 5 times 4. It will give us 20. So we use that 4 to multiply both the numerator and the denominator of 5, of 2 and 5 here, so that we can have common denominator of these to be 20. And whatever you multiply the denominator by, you multiply the numerator with it as well, so that you can make it equivalent fraction. So this gives us 8 over 20. So it's the same thing. 2 over 5 is equivalent to 8 over 20. So we pick 3 over 4 now. What can we multiply 4 with to or by to give 20? And that's 5. So that we'll use 5 to multiply both the numerator and the denominator of 3 and 4. And so we have 3 times 5 gives us 15, and 4 times 5 gives us 20. And lastly, we move on to 1 over 2. And so we 2 times 10 will give us 20, of course. So we use that 10 to multiply both the numerator and the denominator, and it gives us 10 over 20. So the next is for us to, since we have the denominator to be equal, 20, 20, and of course 20 here, so we can just apply the first rule that we consider the numerator, which is 8, 15, and 10. So 8 is the smallest, and 2 over 5 was what gave us 8 over 20. So the smallest is 2 over 5. Then we have 15 and 10. So 10 is smaller than 15. And which one gave us 10? That is 1 over 2. So the next fraction is 1 over 2. And lastly, we have 3 over 4. So this is how to go about arranging fractions. I hope you have learned the concept properly. Till I come your way again. Bye bye, and thank you for watching.